Yo, fine scholars, I am sending you this video to give you a bit of guidance and instruction before we meet during our conferences. Hopefully this video will help you to figure out some things before we meet, and you may not even have to meet after this. These comments are some of the things that I would have shared with you if we were in class. Pardon my neighbor's dog. These are things that I would have shared with you if we were in class together about the college essay. Here's something to keep in mind. Outside of your GPA, your rigorous course schedule, your volunteer hours, and your extracurricular activities, your college essay is going to be what will give your college admissions team or committee a better glimpse into who you are as a person. So you have 7 questions that you get to choose. And I'm going to tell you out the gate, there are a couple that are much more popular because they're easier to answer. And I'm not going to say that to discourage you from choosing those options. However, you want to keep in mind that if you are choosing one of those, your response needs to stand out from the rest. Remember, these college admissions committees officers, they're going to be reading hundreds, if not thousands of applications. So when they get to your essay, you want your personality and who you are to really jump off the page. So here's the thing you want to keep in mind. You are marketing yourself. This is probably the most important persuasive essay you're going to ever write. You are trying to convince them that you are among the best of the candidates and that they should absolutely, beyond a doubt, select you, beyond a shadow of a doubt, select you to attend their campus. So it is your job to convince them to choose you. So we did a little bit of this with the This I Believe essay. You certainly can use the This I Believe essay and tweak it a bit. You've been through a year now. So what you started off as at the beginning of that essay, you've grown some, so you can look back at that essay with a fresh set of eyes and make sure that it really represents who you are. With the little tweak here and there, I think it may be appropriate, and that will go for question 7, where it says you can share an essay on any topic of your choice. I'm going to tell you, question 1, the essay about students who have a background or identity interest that is so meaningful that they believe their application would be incomplete without it. That's a super popular one. Another one that's super popular is when students will choose the one about the lessons or obstacles that they learn. That's super popular because that's kind of how we are. We talk about what we learn and how we grow. And then another one that is super popular is that I've seen over the year is the one where students talk about an accomplishment or an event or a realization that sparked personal growth. Let me be clear, I'm not discouraging you from choosing those options. However, you need to know that if you're going to choose it, what you say has to be unique to stand out. Let me give you an example. For instance, if it says students who have a background, identity, interest, or talent that is so meaningful that beyond their application it would be incomplete without it, right? I could say, okay, I'm just going to use me for example. I attended a historically black college and university. So if I told about my background story, which is a pretty crazy story, right? That story is not different from a lot of the African American students and candidates who applied at Kentucky State University when I went there. Most of us were from the hood. Most of us were from single parents' homes. Most of us were parented by grandparents or other relatives. So that wasn't unique. Now, granted, there's some things to my story that makes it unique, but I didn't want to focus on those things to create pity or say, you should let me in because I had such a hard life and you feel sorry for me. No, if you're going to talk about something that has happened in your past that you've survived, you are a whole overcomer, then you need to talk about that particular event and then talk about how your ability to overcome makes you a qualified candidate for the campus, that it makes you tenacious, that you know not to quit, and that when you're around other people who look like going to quit. You can encourage them. You want to show your future university that you have and can add value to the campus. You want to assure them that when you go there, you're going to graduate. You're not going to get punk out and go home after first semester. You're not going to go there and get drunk and get kicked out because you have a low GPA. You want to assure them that when I graduate from your campus, I am going to be an ambassador for this university, and I'm going to make it proud. Because guess what? Every time you put on a t-shirt from your campus, you're an ambassador. Every time you put on a bumper sticker on your car, you become an ambassador for your university. So what you do for your campus extends beyond the 4 to 6 years that you're going to spend there. And you want to let them know that you are aware of that, that it is an honor, but that it's an honor to have you on campus because you have things like leadership skills. You have compassion and empathy. You know how to get along with others. You can spark a movement if necessary. You know how to stand up when others would cower in their fear. So those are things that you want to talk about. So if you're going to talk about a lesson, you only have 650 words, right? If you're going to talk about somebody who was so monumental in the development of who you are as a person, you can't spend 400 words developing that story. You got to hit it and quit it. You got to get there very quickly, make your point, and then get to you. What I've seen with students, they spent way too much time developing the story that most of the essay is about that thing, and it doesn't really show who they are as much as possible. So as you are writing your essays, make sure you're not selling an event. You're not selling a person. You're not selling your background. You have to show how that develops you as a person and how it makes you more prepared to be an incoming freshman. So for example, question 4, describe a problem you solved or a problem you like to solve. It can be an intellectual challenge, a research query, or ethical dilemma, anything that is of personal importance, no matter the scale. So what they're saying is, you've got to be able to look at the question and think about what they're really asking you. They're asking is, if you get to campus and you see that there is a need for intervention, if you see that there's a place where there can be improvement, if there's a need on campus that they don't know about, are you the kind of student who can step up and say, you know what? I can handle that. I have the solutions for that. I can gather the resources and the people that I need to take care of this issue. You see what I mean? Describe a topic, idea, or concept you find so engaging that it makes you lose all track of time. That's question number 6. Why does it captivate you? What or who do you turn to when you want to learn more? Yeah, they ask you that question, but what they're really asking you is, what are you passionate about? Do you have something that when you're working on it, you get into flow and you lose track of time? What do you have that you're so interested in that when you get involved, time eludes you, it evades you, it's just gone. You look up and it's 3 o'clock in the morning, you're just working so hard. It doesn't matter what gets in your way, you're so passionate that you're going to accomplish this. Because guess what? That's going to be your degree. They don't want people who are apathetic. They don't want people on their campuses who are lukewarm, because guess what happens to lukewarm people? They get bored and they go home. They change their majors 30 times and they just waste a bunch of energy, right? These campuses, these universities, they want to know that when they pick you, they are getting a stellar student. And so the response needs to address obviously what they're asking you to, but don't get lost in that so much that you dwell on answering that you forget to illuminate the wonderful qualities that you have as a young scholar. Okay? You need to tell them very explicitly, this is what I learned. If that's one of your prompts, this is what I learned, and this is how it makes me be prepared to be on campus. This is how it makes me a stronger student. This is how it makes me compassionate and I can be around other people and help them learn and grow. Because students run the campus. Teachers and professors teach and they take care of the classrooms, but the campus life is run by students. And they need to know that they have students who have good energy, who are going to make good decisions, that move with integrity, that are not going to get in trouble. Because guess what? If they give a spot to you, that means they didn't give a spot to somebody else. And when they get you, that means they also get your money. So they want to make sure that they keep getting your money, right? And so if you get there and act a fool and get rid of it, that's a spot that they lose. So they've got some skin in the game, but guess what? You do too. If you want to go to the Ohio State University, if you want to go to Miami or wherever it is that you want to go, you need to know that as an ambassador, they don't want somebody who's weak and lame, right? Representing them. So as you look at your questions and as you begin to craft your responses to those questions, make sure, number one, that you answer the question. Don't go willy-nilly and go off into some other tangent. No, you need to really make sure that you answer the question specifically, explicitly. Answer the question, but then take it to the next step. Tell them how that experience, that background, that lesson, that passion, that accomplishment helps to make you a more rounded individual who's prepared to leave mommy and daddy or granny and auntie or uncle, whomever you're with, whoever your caregivers are, that you're ready to leave them and face the world alone as you transition into adulthood. Most freshman classes, they can lose up to 10 to 25% of the students in the first semester. College is not for everybody, and it weeds out the knuckleheads, people who can't get the executive functioning, people who can't be responsible, people who can't get up and go to class. So you want to show them that you can be responsible. You know how to do what you need to do without somebody riding on your back telling you how to do it, because you've had these phenomenal lessons, passions, experiences. You've solved problems before you got to their campus, right? So I just wanted to give you that, because I would have told you that in class, but obviously we're not in class, right? So hopefully that will help you to focus your essay. You got 650 words to sell yourself, but I am confident that you can do it. So read your essay out loud. If you feel like you're spending too much time trying to develop your response that deals with the part of the question, keep in mind, this is not a personal narrative, right? It's not a personal narrative, so you don't have to have all the jazz of a story. Yes, you should use word choice, diction that is going to portray you to be the phenomenal scholar that you are, or convey that. But don't get lost in the sauce with that. You got to get back to why you are going to be the best candidate, and that they should select you because of that. All right. Hopefully that's helpful. Have a good weekend.